Well, obviously, a nice break for everybody to to have the schedule that we have had has been really, really challenging. I mean, if you look at the stretch that we had where we played UMass, Alabama, Miami, Rutgers, at Nebraska, at Arkansas, that's as tough of a non-conference. I count those league games as non-conference, I guess, in a weird way, but that's as tough as we have played. Passed some tests, didn't pass others, but at the end of the day, it reveals where we got to get better. Certainly, our defense, more so our 3 point field goal defense, has really been bad. Our 2 point defense actually has been pretty good. So we've really, really focused on that, getting better there. And guys have been very, very coachable and willing to learn and willing to get better. So it's been a good break. And now we got to get back, obviously, tomorrow. We're excited to play versus Oral Roberts.
You talked about the stretch where you had quite a few games and not that long of a prep. You weren't able to practice 5-on-5 and have guys just work on other than skill. And
It was hard. Yeah, it was really, really hard. Hard to get better. You're kind of surviving when you play that type of a schedule. And it's good. It was good for us. I mean, it reveals what we need to get better at, but it is hard to get better. I feel like we've really gotten better this week. When you're in a type of stretch like we were in, you're just trying to prepare. You're trying to rest, then you're trying to prepare. Where now we've been able to lock in a lot on ourselves. We've prepared for Oral Roberts last couple of days, but those first couple of days, it was all about studying where we can get better. Is it effort? Is it execution? What is it? So this has been a great break for us.
Was there anything other than the 3 point defense that you stressed, or has that been the main thing the last few days?
Uh, we stress a lot of things, obviously, but that was the most glaring weakness from a defensive part of it. I think transition defense is always extremely important. If you can get back and you can get set defensively, it's very crucial. So just everything. I mean, there's not one specific thing that we need to get better at, all facets of it.
To you, the 3 point defense, does that go back to what we've talked about before with losing Akeem, having the rotations, having freshmen as your first guys off the bench, or is it something else?
We looked at it, I mean, to see what exactly it is. I think that played a tough schedule. I don't think it's complete yet. I mean, I think that, but we got to get better at it. Whether or not it's a rotation, whether or not it's an execution standpoint. I do think a lot of it's transition defense getting us screwed up a little bit. So I think they'll be much better moving forward.
after that kind of close game against Drake, did you kind of see sense of like a change in the guys? Maybe
I think it's a tough time of year for all coaches. You look at a lot of these scores right now. I'm watching the other day. What was it? Texas and Tennessee State was really close. I just think there's a lot on our guys' plate. It's for everybody. I think that you got Christmas around the corner. You got finals. You got a lot. Plus, I mean, we played Drake, which was a tough prep. I believe we had one day to prepare after at Arkansas. We get back late, tired, the whole deal. So, I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. But I think that with a little bit of rest, these guys will be ready to go.
do you think there was anything to help with the guys during the finals? Was there anything to like alleviate that stress or anything like that? Did you guys maybe just take it easy on?
Did a lot of meditation, yoga. No, nothing. I don't know. No, we didn't do anything. But I think it's like everything, right? I mean, I remember it, man. It's a stressful time, right? So you just gotta find a way to get through it. And so, but it's amazing. They walk into the gym and one by one, when those finals are done, they just feel so much better, like we all did. So, other than that, we'll do some. It'll be a lot of fun, obviously, moving forward when we don't have class, just because we focus on basketball.
With the bench production, you said that Isaiah and Michael have been playing better. Maybe not scoring as much, but they've been able to not make mistakes and kind of help the guys coming off the bench. Where do you attribute that to? Just more experience?
Just more experience. Michael's older. I think Isaiah is just learning. And that's very, very important, obviously, to our team. From a, we're getting tired, obviously. There's slippage there. Obviously, we need to be able to go to that bench and be able to rely on them. And I do think that they will get better through this stretch. I thought that stretch was hard. That's why coaches don't like to play tough non-conferences, right? Because, people tend to overreact a little bit about your team. Where I'm happy we did it. I think it's very, very good for us. But we've got a very, very inexperienced bench. So hopefully, however many we play in a row at home, what do we play? 6 in a row at home. Hopefully it's a good opportunity to learn a little bit, get better.
Of those 6, the first 3 are your last 3 non-conference games. What do you hope to get out of these upcoming 3?
3 wins.
6 wins out of the 6.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a tough time in the sense of, like I said, finals got to be over. Then they got to go home. We got to let them go home. So we let them go home for 3 days. So I want them to spend time with their families and get some rest. But then I want them to come back and be totally rejuvenated. There's no one specific thing. We want to get better at everything. Skill development, defense, offense. We're just trying to be the most complete team we can be right now. So
I know you don't like rankings. Do you think it's kind of a burden off their shoulders to not have top 25?
I think rankings are really, really stupid in the first 2 months. So we deal with it once or twice a week when we talk to you guys. We don't deal with it a whole lot else. Not to say that they don't pay attention to it. Certainly there's that. But I want our players, our fans. This is not we're not disappointed with our team because we fell out of the national rankings. We weren't ranked last year. We were ranked a day or two, and we were 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, and we were 4th in the Big Ten. So, rankings are really, really irrelevant right now. It's just right now they're irrelevant. End of January, February, sure, you get a good indication of some good teams. But right now it's so overblown, and it's just a number.
Jordan, in those couple losses on the road, obviously teams, especially the Nebraska game, they're pretty physical with him. And even Reggie double teaming him. How do you improve their passing?
Just work, yeah. We got to work on it, right? It's got to get better, and we're working on trapping a lot in practice. Again, that's kind of like we played Nebraska after a one-day prep, right? Because we played Rutgers at home, then we had a one-day prep, and we knew they were going to trap, but we couldn't get a lot of live reps because we were tired. Rutgers is a physical team. We had to get up the next day, early practice, go on the road. So it was difficult. So that this time of year, we'll really work on that, and I think it'll be beneficial for the guys.
Did the coaching staff use the 10-day break to prep for FAU as well as Oral Roberts? Are you ready for FAU to avoid the crash course in the one day?
Well, we do the same thing every time. An assistant coach takes the scout. So Ben Johnson's got Oral Roberts. I don't know who has FAU. I'm a one-day-at-a-time guy. But so we did. It's not that we weren't prepared going into one-day prep. It's just you got to decide on one-day preps. And I think we got several of them this year because of the weird schedule with the Big Ten. You have to decide what you're going to address on a one-day prep. And normally you focus a lot on yourself because you just played a game. You want to learn from that game, and you stick to your core principles. So unfortunately, and again, I might be wrong, but I think our one-day preps, we were on the road. That's hard. So other than that, no, we'll be prepared for FAU.
Good. Quickly on the recruit, today's signing day for football, but both you and Coach Fleck have top 25 or so recruiting classes, same year. It's been a while since that happened. I think about 10 years. What does it mean for both programs to be recruiting at that level at the same time?
Well, I'm not a big rankings guy. I know that Coach Fleck's excited about his, the guys that he signed. I know he's really excited, and not even from a ranking standpoint. Rankings, again, that's always hard to project. I know that he's excited about what his staff has been able to do and what, the type of people that he brought in with time. So he'll develop those guys. They'll fit what they're trying to do. I think that this is a really, really exciting time for men's basketball and football specifically because you asked that question. I'm not, not talking about other sports. You asked specifically about men's basketball and football, but it's exciting. I think that certainly we're having success that took some time to build. the facilities part of it. I mean, that's going to open up in a couple of weeks, and bringing student athletes in there, it's got that wow factor that we have not had here. So his staff is really, really good. I know PJ's really, really into recruiting, like most head coaches are, and he's done a great job of it. So, with time, it's all about consistency. For him, for us, we had, I don't know anywhere from top 25 or whatever last year. You got to do it every year. Because what happens is, and this isn't for football, they will do it, but when you build 2, 3, 4 classes in a row, that's where you could sustain injuries. You can sustain, like they didn't have any depth this year, right? You could tell. He talked about it all the time. I don't know football as well as obviously he does, but the more recruiting classes, good recruiting classes, solid ones like he's building on right now, the better off that program's going to be. And just like hopefully for us, I mean, the 3 guys that we sign, we feel like, I don't know what we're ranked or whatever, but we feel like we've got a really good class. So it's an exciting time for football, basketball, and all the sports. And I think a lot of that is the Athletes Village. I think the Athletes Village is rejuvenating everybody. And I don't think we're going to see many more teams in this athletic department be ranked because of that. I mean, that commitment level, especially for local kids. I mean, we're showing local kids that we mean business and that we're committed. So it's great to see. All righty.